everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for staying, thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing and liking all that good happy stuff that we do on YouTube. Anyhow, I have a full plate today. Number one, we're going to look at all of the elements that create a criminal charge against Trump. Also, is January 6th is considering handing over a subpoena for Ginny Thomas. I also have Fox News on here for losing their donors and how their trajectory is going. I know we keep on looking at that, but I'm waiting for them to really fall and tank at some point in time. So much more. Did Melania know that the riot was going on, or she was just oblivious and taking pictures of a rug? What the heck? Also, I want to know about Pence's detail team. They were afraid for their lives enough to send text messages back to their family saying, I love you. I just want to kind of look and see what really was happening with that, and so much more. We have the Overstock CEO, Patrick, I think Byrne is his name. Also wanted to see, that was a new name. That was a new person showing up on the scene. Where does he fit in all of this? So yeah, stand by. We will get to it. Okay, first up, Ginny Thomas. Are they going to actually subpoena that woman? Get to the bottom of it, see what her little antics is going to be, right? I mean, what can she claim other than stupidity? Here we go. I want to see if she's actually going to receive a subpoena. She's a fool, the new beginning. Interesting enough. It doesn't look like, I mean, steady progress. It doesn't look like, even if they do give her a subpoena or something like that, she can let that fighting that subpoena go on and on and on. That's exactly what it kind of looks like, because she was a fool in the Six of Swords, trying to get out of her trouble, trying to move away from all of the spotlight. However, she was, self-imposed. She did this to herself. She's definitely incriminating. All of the evidence is wrapped around her, as you can see. She also has the fear and the hope, Oh, this is her base. Oh my gosh. And she's really trying to get out of it. She has trying to get a lawyer. She's lawyered up, but heartbroken. She literally is understanding that her reputation, everybody knows. She really does weigh in on reputation. She does. I feel like that. Like everything was her. Everything. Like those people that are very superficial. She's incredibly superficial, and this bothers her more than anything else, that somebody knows something about her that she didn't want people to know. And we also have, of course, the courage and the conflict on the outside. The outside influences, the sudden action. This is a sudden action. I think this is the subpoena. I think this is the subpoena, that they do actually decide to subpoena her. And then we have the poverty. It's either they're not going to get much out of her, she doesn't have the money to fight it, but some sort of unemployment, missed opportunity, something happens, and then the end is the steady progress. This one kind of makes me think that even if they do subpoena her, it's going to drag out for quite some time. So yeah, there's that for Ginny Thomas. Okay, so next up is Steve Bannon. I kind of want to see what his sentencing is going to look like. If he's actually going to, I know that there's a 60-day minimum. 30-day minimum for each charge. Is he going to get more than that? So let's see. As the way he talks about it, it's like the judge gave him like, I have no choice. I have no choice but to go with what the law says, Steve. I'm so sorry. And it just sounded like when he was talking, like the judge was all on his side. And that's the reason why he came out, with, it's all right. It's all right. They won this one. They won, because he didn't want to then piss off the judge or something. It was really a weird dynamic when Steve Bannon came out for his little press thingamajigger out in front of the courthouse. So let's see if what the sentencing is going to look like. I'm kind of weirded out maybe that he'll get away with it too, but we'll see. Let's see what the cards say. Right off the bat, I got the Hierophant. Oh, 2 cards. Hierophant, and these are the 2 cards that just jumped out. The Hierophant and the Heartbreak. So I'm thinking the Hierophant is going to hand over some heartbreak. Of course, Mr. Steve Bannon. Tension, strife, tension. A High Priestess again, over top. Which is weird, defending the territory. So he has Hierophant, the High Priestess. I think he's trying to pull his cards or pull his influence on this judge. But the judge is not going to fall for it. He hands over some heartbreak for him. Going forward is defending his territory. So he has that the lawyers. Again, Steve Bannon's cards look like he's weaseling out of whatever it is that he's going to be handed over. Somehow, some way, he gets a win of some sort. Either he doesn't get the conviction, or either he doesn't get the conviction, or either there's a delusion of fear. He throws enough BS out there, and he gets charity at the end. Dang it. Yep. It makes me just as angry as anybody to know that Steve Bannon is going to wiggle out of this one too. Somehow, some way, he is going to wiggle out of it. So, yeah. Okay, let's go to Fox News. Fox News is missing a lot of their donors, and here's a little clip to explain that.
According to NewsGuard ratings, Fox News loses major certification as a trusted news source and could now lose top advertisers. Like we didn't know they weren't a top news source.
Okay, so now let's look and see if this is true, if it's really going to affect them. I keep on looking at splashes of headlines saying that Fox News has dumped Trump. We'll see. And going for DeSantis. That they're putting all of their weight in gold with DeSantis. But let's see what's going on with Fox News with their donations. I did get the 6 of Cups that popped right out, which is normally charity, giving, childhood memories, going back to the old times, possibly goodwill, kindness, Chariot, moving forward. They have picked a new leader. They have literally picked a new leader. King of Wands is their new leader, and they are achieving the first stage of moving away from Trump. They're working on it for the world, their world. They're defending their boundaries. You know, they're defending it off like, hey, we got to move on. We got to move on. The Wheel of Fortune at the end. Balancing of the troops. Yeah. Magician. Yeah. So what they're doing is they're moving away from Trump to support DeSantis, and all of their donors will come back. That's what they're threatening. And they're going to do it. You know, I don't know if they think that DeSantis is going to get any of the votes. I don't think so. But that's what they're doing. That's what their whole little maneuver is about. Okay, let's go to Josh Hawley. I just kind of want to see if him running away from the situation hurt his campaign.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Do you have time to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? Hey, don't run from the Lord! Where are you going?
In Missouri. Anybody that lives in Missouri? Come on. Gotta get that man out of office. All right, let's see. Josh Hawley. Let's see if him running away hurt him. That's interesting enough. So right off the bat, I have coming into the whole thing, the world knows, the world saw, the world stage. Then I have the Nine of Cups, wishful satisfaction of what he was doing. And we also have Hangman. Hangman is above, like he understands that the retreat, the surrender, he's going to really, really narrative this thing out. He's not going to allow, but he has is that the happiness of the family of the GOP, but now he's going to be holding off, being forced to move. So this is over top of his GOP, is being forced to move, because that was inverted. And then the hard choices. So it did hurt him. It did make his supporters in Missouri realize that they now have a decision. Before, they didn't have to have a decision. They knew they were going to have him as good. But now that they saw that, they're considering their options again, thinking about their options. The Nine of Pentacles is like material wealth, the abundance that he had in his support, the Wheel of Fortune that he had in there. But here's the key after this, is that they're contemplating on the abundance they had and the Wheel of Fortune they had with him, but they're realizing it was a delusion. Like they've been lied to. And then the King of Cups is the outcome. Like maybe they do decide to go with a Democratic nominee versus Josh Hawley because of the delusion card. They need more choices, maybe. They need more options. And their other option is the King of Cups, the Democrat. So I think it did hurt him right here, right now. When it gets closer to his reelection, which I'll have to find that out. Anyhow, I think it did hurt his supporters saw something they didn't want to see. Darn. Okay, next up is Melania. Did she know? I mean, common sense says that she knew. Really? I mean, how did you not know, Melania? But I want to see what the cards say. about her position, her reality of that day. She was told by her counsel. The Knight of Wands here with the lust for the power. And we have the Hangman's surrender and retreat. She was told by counsel to stay out of it. So you're not being held accountable. Did she know? Yes, because her counsel was telling her stay out of it. Because right here it says you need to act as if you're a child, you're innocent. You're innocent. From a professional telling her. You have to appear innocent. We also have the Knight of Pentacles and the Temperance. So it was the bias, the steady progress of it and stuff like that. She didn't want to know all the details. The less she knows, the more I have no idea what's going on. King of Pentacles and the Eight of Cups. The King of Pentacles and the Eight of Cups. She was actually, interesting enough, the control, the power, and the discipline of her thoughts that day, she wanted to let it go. She didn't want to have anything to do with the power anymore. She was at a neutral stage with it all, but she was counseled. I'm almost 100% positive that she was counseled to stay out of it. Less you know, the less culpability you will be facing. Her, she wants to appear innocent and childlike. That's exactly what it was about. But she didn't really want it. She didn't really want to stay in power. It was almost a relief to her that it was over with. Okie dokie. Interesting cards. Okay, next up, the Overstock guy, the CEO of Overstock.com.
Do you know who these two people are and what their relationship was? This was news to me. This is the Overstock guy who was in that unhinged meeting at the White House where they discussed seizing voting machines and who knows what else. He was in a relationship with Maria Butina, the woman who was convicted for being a Russian spy in 2018. Trump likes to talk about the Russian witch hunt, but everywhere we turn, we seem to keep discovering warlocks and witches. What do you think?
Who knew he existed, but he did. Patrick, I think it's Byrne or something like that. Anyhow, what the heck? I want to see where he lays or lands in the whole scheme of things. New people, when they say the silent majority, I think they're talking about the silent people who are helping them out. You gotta listen to their words when they start talking. And these were the silent people helping them out without them being in public. Well, he's in public now. But I want to see where he shows up on the whole scheme of things. Financially. That's where he shows up on the scheme of things financially. He's wholeheartedly GOP. There's judgment of his past actions. So there's something in his past that would indicate what kind of a douchebag he is or a creep. There's definitely that, but he's definitely GOP, happy family GOP, and they have dirt on him. Okay, there's those two cards. Then we have the Five of Swords and the Empress, which is the abundance of betrayal, the abundance of deceit, abundance of lack of integrity, lack of whatever. Abundantly, this is this guy. So there's that with him that describes him. Now here's two cards that really kind of go, we have Temperance and we have High Priestess, right? So he is the rhyme, the harmony, the money, the person that kept things going quietly. The High Priestess tells me that he was pretty high up on the bar. He was pretty high up in the rankings of everything that was going on, but he knew the importance of his silence. He knew the importance of him being quiet so that he can do what he needs to do behind the scenes. His money. Absolutely his money. But we have justice for him. He's going to need a lawyer because justice is coming for him. They know his dealings. They know his efforts. They know his accountability. They know it. So rest assured, he's not, but he's definitely in the high rankings. Mm. Mm, mm. All right, so the last one here is about Pence and his detailed 10.
Another clip about what actually happened January 6th.
The members of the VP detail at this time were starting to fear for their own lives. There was a lot of yelling, a lot of very personal calls over the radio. So it was disturbing. I don't like talking about it, but there were calls to say goodbye to family members, so on and so forth. It was getting, for whatever the reason was on the ground, the VP detail thought that this was about to get very ugly. They're running out of options, and they're getting nervous. It sounds like we came very close to either service having to use legal options or worse. Like at that point, I don't know. Is the VP compromised? Is the detail I don't know. Like we didn't have visibility, but it doesn't. If they're screaming and saying things like say goodbye to the family, like the floor needs to know this is going to a whole nother level soon.
Detailed team. Pence's team was afraid. So afraid that they were sending messages home, I love you, knowing that there was a good, great, big, huge possibility of them dying, being killed, being unalived. Why? So I want to read on that. I want to read what they were afraid of. I do get the impression that once they started chanting "Hang Mike Pence," that they knew that they had to protect Pence at all costs, and that also promoted the fear of their last days because they knew that they would fight until death to protect Pence. Let's see what the cards say. the bravery, the courage, the conflict. The Knight of Cups, the love, the compassion, their obligation. They knew that they would fight to the death to save Pence. Kind of makes me cry. But that's what that's why they were saying that. The emotion of help, the cup runneth over. Pence had immense protection that day from his detail. Lack of stability. They knew that their actions were going to go against Trump. They knew that their actions were going to go against the GOP. They knew this. They knew that they were getting unemployment. They knew. Going forward, the love of their job of protecting Pence. Or if they loved Pence, I don't know. Did they love Pence? I don't know. But they knew. The creativity of that day, the creativity of keeping Pence safe, it was probably against protocol. That's what it makes me feel like. It was against protocol for their actions. Craftsmanship, they had to come up with new things to do. They created their own plan. Defending the boundaries. Absolutely defending the boundaries. Defending, standing their ground, challenges. They knew whatever came their way, they were going to fight to the end, till death. And their constant effort succeeded. Okay. The reason why the emotions come up is because men, at least Pence had the right men on his side. No matter what I feel about Pence, their duty was first. And they were ready to meet their maker, no matter what came. They were ready to meet their maker. Well, there you have it. That's why they were afraid. And they knew what they were going to do. And yeah. At least Pence had them on his side. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful Sunday.
My friends, the key to tonight's hearing is found in criminal law, especially in 3 elements of the most serious criminal violations: knowledge, intent, and malice. Now, the committee has already confirmed that Trump knew he lost the election. They've also confirmed that he intended to stop the transition of power to Joe Biden. Tonight, the committee provided evidence of Donald Trump's malice, his deliberate intent to stop or delay the electoral count with a violent attack on the Capitol that endangered the lives of many people in order to remain in power. Now, evidence of Trump's malice came in 10 particular pieces. Number 1, Trump was aware that armed rioters were in the Capitol. He spent hours in the dining room next to the Oval Office watching Fox News coverage of the attack. Number 2, Trump refused to take action.
President Trump did not fail to act during the 187 minutes between leaving the ellipse and telling the mob to go home. He chose not to act.
Number 3, He could easily have done so. He was a 60-second walk away from the White House press room.
If the president had wanted to make a statement and address the American people, he could have been on camera almost instantly.
In the Commander-in-Chief, you got an assault going on the Capitol of the United States of America. There's nothing. No call, nothing, zero.
Number 4, he chose to provoke the rioters instead. When the riot was underway, his first tweet was, quote, Mike Pence didn't have the courage to do what should have been done to protect our country. Number 5, then Trump said the minimum to the rioters. Eventually, he sent out 2 tweets urging his supporters to remain peaceful with no violence, but neither of these were adequate. In fact, rather than call the rioters off, Trump indicated they were doing the right thing. When House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy urged Trump to take action, Trump responded,
Well, Kevin, I guess they're just more upset about the election you theft than you are.
Number 7, in his final video statement to the rioters,
I know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us.
he complimented them. He went to the Rose Garden and said, quote,
We love you. You're very special.
Number 8, he showed no remorse. At 6 o'clock, he tweeted, These are the things that happen when a victory is stripped away from great patriots. Remember the day forever. Go home with love. And number 9, even after the 2020 election was certified, he refused to say the election was over.
Congress has certified the results. I don't want to say the election's over. I just want to say Congress has certified the results without saying the election's over, okay?
Trump has never accepted any responsibility for the attack and never acknowledged the deaths of law enforcement officers. Why? Because he does not want to be faulted or imply any criticism of the rioters, of his supporters. And 10, Trump's entire violent plot was premeditated.
The Democrats, more of our people vote early that count. Theirs vote in mail. And so they're going to have a natural disadvantage, and Trump's going to take advantage of that. That's our strategy. He's going to declare himself a winner. So when you wake up Wednesday morning, it's going to be a firestorm.
You just take a look at all of these states that we've won tonight, and then you take a look at the kind of margins that we've won them by. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election.
These 10 revelations clearly established Trump's malice. He not only violated his oath of office, he also is a criminal.